Thank you for joining us. My name is Mary Yanez, and I'm the director of the Senior Adult Program, and this is Mature Living. Well, we want to continue with bringing you great information, how all the organizations that serve the elderly, that serve our community, are handling this COVID way of living, this virtual world that we live in now, and that I think it's going to continue. I don't think it's going to end anytime soon. So we've invited Mr. Pifas Silva, who is the Director of Programs and Services for the West Texas chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. Mr. Pifas, welcome to our show. We know you have good information to share with our community, and I understand that you are learning, as we are, how to handle, our jobs with this virtual COVID situation. So share with us about your job and what you do with the Alzheimer's Association.
Okay, well, thank you. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really looking forward to sharing the information about the Alzheimer's Association. And you're absolutely right. We are in a COVID world, and so everything has gone virtual, but that has not stopped the Alzheimer's Association here in El Paso or in West Texas of providing the services that we provide to caregivers and to people living with Alzheimer's. We just had to go to a virtual world, like you said, and we had to learn. And after a year, it seems like we've got everything down, and we're going that route. So it's an interesting time, but thankfully our services weren't interrupted. We may not be out of our office, working out of our office on Mesa Park. For those of you that knew where our office was located, we are working virtually, but we're still just a phone call or a computer click away from providing services. So yeah, it's been a challenge, but we're getting it done. And like I said, it's very interesting right now.
How many families do you serve through the Alzheimer's Association that are, it's a very difficult disease to manage, and with loved ones that don't know even, who their family members are. They get lost within the house. You're afraid they'll leave the home and get lost in the community. How many families do you all serve each year?
What the interesting thing is, when we look at the state of Texas, the Alzheimer's Association is broken down by different chapters. That's why when you introduced me, you said the West Texas chapter. And that's because we encompass 80 counties in West Texas. Wow. Yes, wow. That's a lot. So it spans everything from El Paso all the way to San Angelo, up to Lubbock and Amarillo, all those communities within that area. So that's why we say West Texas chapter, because it's really not just the El Paso area where we help families. We help people in Odessa and Midland, San Angelo, Lubbock, Amarillo. That's our area. So as you know, Alzheimer's is just one of the dementias. It falls under the umbrella of dementias. So we work with people, with caregivers, with people living with Alzheimer's or any other form of dementia. So it's a vast variety of people in the state. And just the other day, we got the numbers out, and statewide, there's about 400,000 people that are living with Alzheimer's or dementia. So we take a fraction of that in our part of Texas, and we help and support those people with programs, with assistance that they need, with caregiving support. So it's a variety of things that we do. And like we said, luckily we have not stopped our services just because we've had to go virtual. We just went online or went via phone or went via computer to provide those services to people. And the interesting thing is, like I mentioned, that the report just came out last year. It's the 2021 Alzheimer's disease facts and figures, and that number is going to increase by 22% in 5 years. So when we say that we are servicing 400 people in the state of Texas, all the chapters that do that, then we're going to go up to about 490,000 people living with Alzheimer's and dementia. That's why us being on this program today to educate people about Alzheimer's is very important to us.
Yes, and I know you're a nonprofit organization. You depend on donations and contributions from the community and from all of us. I've always said to my friends, I said I have two major fears. One of them is falling, and the
Mhm.
other one is Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
Those are my two biggest fears. And
Mhm.
so I try to stay, I don't know if it's genetics or you know, or what, but or should we do, how can we help ourselves to not get it? Or are we going to get it anyway if it runs in our family?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. A lot of people always ask that, and I'm going to personalize this. I myself um, have had Alzheimer's in my family. My mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2010. And at that time, I put my entire life on hold because I was the youngest of 8 children. I was the only one that was not married and didn't have any children of my own. So I became her caregiver, which we'll discuss in a little bit about caregiving and the importance of that. But I had to become a caregiver to my mother as well. And um, so she lived with the disease for about 4 years. She passed away in November of 2014. So it was very interesting because a lot of people say, well, because your mother had it, are you going to get it? Well, we don't know who gets affected by Alzheimer's. It's a disease of the brain, and it can affect any individual. It's not necessarily genetic, and so the one thing we try to do is to encourage people to live a healthy life, make sure they're practicing communication skills, walking, making sure that they're healthy. But Alzheimer's can really affect anyone and at any age. We think of Alzheimer's as being an old person's disease. And even though that is true, a majority of the people that have Alzheimer's are 65 or above, a great deal of people are getting what we call early stage Alzheimer's or early onset Alzheimer's. And you can get that in your late 30s, early 40s. So yeah, it's an interesting disease. So it's very important. And the one thing about Alzheimer's is we don't have a cure for it. It's one of the major diseases that doesn't have a cure, like cancer or any of those other diseases. So it's important for people to stay healthy, and to maintain their visits to doctors to make sure, because Alzheimer's is not just about forgetting where you put your keys, and it's not
Okay.
just forgetting why you walked into the other room. It's
Yeah.
it's forgetting. It's a cognitive disease, so it's a lot of things. But yeah,
Yes.
that's a good idea.
Well, thank you for sharing because I was wondering how you got involved with the Alzheimer's Association. So you're very, very keenly um, connected because of your
Absolutely.
experience, and so you understand families and what they're going through and the responsibilities and the the just the chaos that can happen, and it changes your whole world.
Yeah.
Are elected officials being supported? How are they helping with the cause in fighting this
You know,
incurable
there's
disease?
there's two things we're doing, and one of them is it's called the AIM. It's the branch of the Alzheimer's Association that advocates for funding for legislature about Alzheimer's, for caregivers and stuff. But the other part is, yes, elected officials are being very supportive of Alzheimer's because, like we said, it can affect a variety of people in different ways. Um, and one of the ways that some of our state legislators and even some of our local elected officials are helping is by holding community forums. And we've
Okay,
got two coming up next month.
okay,
There's going to be one on Thursday, April the 1st at 12 p.m. And that's going to be with State Rep Joe Moody. As you know, he represents part of El Paso. And so he is holding a community forum to discuss Alzheimer's and Hispanic Texans, because
very
but
good.
one thing we haven't said is Alzheimer's is pretty predominant in the Hispanic and African American community. So it's important that we educate African Americans and Hispanics and women, because 2/3 of the people suffering from Alzheimer's are women. State Rep Moody is going to have a community forum on April 1st. And then on April 5th, State Rep Art Fierro and City Representative Peter Schwartzbein are going to have a community forum at 5 p.m. on April the 5th. So that's their way of reaching out to their constituents, the people in our area, to educate and hear concerns that people have, whether you're a caregiver, whether you're a person living with Alzheimer's, whether you're a medical professional that needs your voice heard. Our elected officials are going to be holding those community forums, and we'll have more in the future as well.
And you'll be able to send me a flyer or an announcement so that we can invite our community through Mature Living and also maybe through our email contacts. That would be wonderful. I understand you're always looking for volunteers. Share with me what kinds of volunteers you're looking for and what would they be doing?
Well, there's several ways to volunteer. One of the ways is, our volunteers are very important to us because, like you said, a lot of organizations depend heavily on volunteers. Over 200 volunteers led community programs and events last year for the Alzheimer's Association West Texas chapter. So yes, they're very important to us. They make things happen. So we're very appreciative of them. And 100% of our education programs and services were volunteer led, because here in El Paso, we're only 4 staff members in the Alzheimer's office to cover all of El Paso. Even though we do have offices in other cities like Midland, Odessa, and Lubbock and Amarillo, in our El Paso area, we're only 4 staff members.
Oh my gosh.
So our volunteers are very important in helping educate, helping reach out, and helping generate enthusiasm for some of our fundraisers, which of course is our Walk to End Alzheimer's and the Longest Day, which happens in June, which is the month where we recognize, Alzheimer's Association, and it's the month that we recognize June. That's the month that we go purple, because purple is the color for Alzheimer's. So a lot of our volunteers are reaching out, educating through some of the programs that we offer. And also they're signing up teams and people to help fundraise, to help raise funds, like you mentioned earlier. As a nonprofit, we need to generate that money to continue educating and our care and support programs. So they can either, they could call our office.
I'd like that. I'd like to have the number where they can call you, Mr. Silva, Pifas Silva. Where can they call you and how can they connect with you? Either your email, your
Yes,
phone
absolutely.
number.
Well, my email address is pisilva@alz.org. And people can just, send me an email and say they're interested in volunteering, and we'll get them volunteer information and where they can go. They can also call our office at 915-257-0246. And we're also on the internet. We have a web page, alz.org/West Texas, or we're on Facebook and Twitter and all the social media to reach out to people. So just any way they want to reach out that way is a great way to get a hold of us, and we will gladly, tell them how they can volunteer, what they need to do. And it's also a mechanism for them to get more information in case someone in their family or someone they know is showing signs of Alzheimer's or dementia. They can reach out and we can put them in contact with someone. The Alzheimer's Association has an 800 number, and this 800 number has master degree level clinicians 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So any day, anytime, you can call and get some information on what support is there for you. Let me give that number because that's a very important number. Like I said, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That number is 800-272-3900. 800-272-3900. And once again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, help for anyone that needs it.
Thank you so much, and for being with us and sharing all this great information. I know you also have opportunities for support groups, and maybe you're meeting virtually, but support groups are very important because there's a lot of understanding between family members, and they can share how they're helping their person that has been afflicted by this horrible, incurable disease of Alzheimer's. We hope someday we'll be able to have more research and find a cure somehow.
Yes, absolutely. That's our mission, to find a cure.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. We'll invite you again.
Thank you so much. You have a great time.
And we'll be back with more guests on this show today. Well, thank you for staying with us here on Mature Living. Of course, we want to continue Our program, as we always do, is to bring you information, how you can help the community, and which organizations that are nonprofit that need your help, whether they need your participation, whether they need your donations, volunteers. Well, we have invited Carmen Estrada, who's been a guest with us before, but we invited her once more to talk a little bit about the mustard seed restaurant. The mustard seed is a concept of how they can help their community by providing meals. And she's the executive director of the Mustard Seed. Thank you and welcome to Mature Living again, Carmen. Good to see you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing us to share what's going on in our cafe and the Mustard Seed Cafe. Excellent ministry, excellent program that we are here to serve our community.
Yes.
Before the pandemic and now during the pandemic.
That's right. That's right. Pre-pandemic and now post-pandemic. But anyway, so one day we hope to go back to a semi-normal situation. But in the meantime, you have had to change everything about how you serve the community. But first, give me the concept of the Mustard Seed Cafe. I know it has to do with a faith-based organization.
We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization. As you say, faith-based. Everything that we're doing at the Mustard Seed Cafe, we cannot do it without the Lord. Our mission is to feed hungry people and care for their heart. And this is something that, again, we cannot do it we cannot do it without the Lord. And we welcome everybody. We don't ask questions. We embrace. We know that people, they are hungry, and sometimes hungry is not necessarily just spiritual, not just physical, but spiritual. So with a big abrazo and a big smile and just treat him with love and respect and dignity, that make a huge difference. Yes.
Yes, it sure does. And you reach out and you reach out in a very special way because hunger is prevalent in our community, in particular with homeless people and persons that don't have enough income to maybe have a meal, every day or 2 or 3 every day, as many of us take for granted. So tell me about your new model that how you're operating these days.
Since March 13 from last year, everything changed, and little by little is like finally we found exactly the model that we want for the community. And what we're providing right now is boxes, meal ready to eat and boxes to go. That is in a healthy way. That meal is being prepared through volunteers. We changed our menu every day. We open from Wednesday to Friday, so every day we have a new menu. What asking no questions. Nobody has to, no specific require. They just come, and we know that the people is hungry. And again, sometimes they are just our community residents. They think that they have to exchange for something. No, we just want to provide them a meal, and for them to be the assurance that they're gonna have something healthy in their stomach, that they don't have to go that day without food in their stomach. Yes.
Do they just drive by? But if you don't have a car, you can walk by and pick up a meal. How does that work?
What we're doing is trying to bring the Mustard Seed, trying to bring the dining outside. We have a beautiful pergola in our patio. So we have a welcome center just right there. Always respect the regulations and the protocol in order to keep safe. So we have a welcome center, and we have a table with boxes ready. The boxes are inside, and we have a table with napkins and flyers for different programs in our community, napkin flyers and all the silverware ready for them in case that they need it. We have paper bags and we have plastic bags. So what the person would do is they just drive get out of the car, they come, they request if they need 2 or they need 1 or they need 6 or they need 7, which is our volunteers, amazing volunteers. They put it in boxes ready for them, or bags according to their needs, and they're ready to take it. Yeah.
And how many people do you serve on Wednesday through Friday?
Let me tell you that a year ago when we planned all this, we were praying that we will provide for 50. Right now we have an average of 250 daily.
Gosh, oh my gosh. So definitely you're needing volunteers. What would the volunteers do, Carmen?
Volunteers do everything, really. Tuesday is amazing. Today is an amazing day because today is a food prep. And we prepare everything for the 3 days that we are going to cook the meals. Monday is the day that we collect donations because we have people who donate all the things that we need. Sometimes, and most of the times, our menus are built up around the donations that we receive.
Oh, yes.
Let me give you an example. Yesterday we received around probably 12 boxes of tomato. We're going to be using those tomatoes this week, and then in a way they honor the donor, and that we can present in a healthy way to our community.
Wow. I think when I think about tomatoes, I think about Italian tomato sauce. You know,
Exactly.
spaghetti or something.
Yeah, somebody mentioned in tomatadas that they happen. Yes, somebody mentioned in tomatadas, but because we put it in boxes, containers to go, we don't want that when our community was ready to eat, it will be presentable and tasty.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So is one of your priorities seniors? Do seniors come by? Do they appreciate you helping them to have a good meal at least 3 times a week?
Let me tell you, in our heart, every time that we are putting together a menu, in our heart are the volunteers. So when we are putting a salad together, we are very sure that the sizes, we know that we have a lot of seniors that they live in their own. We have a lot of seniors that they dealing with healthy issues. When we are putting a salad or a menu, we want to be sure that the sizes are appropriate for the volunteer, for the seniors, so they don't have any issue, safety issue, and they feel comfortable eating what is in the box. Yes.
Very good. So our elderly are taken care of through, and so you have the Amigos garden outside where somebody can come and hang out a little bit, with the distancing and all of that, taking all the precautions. One of the things that I like to do when I come by is I would like to give a donation. So if I'm going to drive by for a meal, or maybe I'll have a friend with me or a family member with me, would I give you a donation of money at that point so that I can contribute?
Even if we don't require nothing, we have a box because people want to, El Paso community is a giving community. We have a beautiful box there that they say donation. You can donate it. None of the volunteers touch the money. You have welcome to put the amount that the Lord has put it in your heart, and that is great. We need donations. We need all kinds of donations, but we don't necessarily people, they don't have to exchange something for the meal. We appreciate a penny in the same way that we appreciate $1,000, so that definitely. And donations is not just economical, again, a way produce that we can produce, containers, gift cards. People, they donate a gift card, and we honor all that donations that we receive. Yes.
Yeah, tell me about the Amigos garden.
Oh my goodness. The Amigos Garden is a special place. It's a special place that we have. It's a beautiful garden where we learned since 3 years ago that in El Paso, everything is possible. Right now, we have beautiful kales, and not just one kind of kale. We have blue kales and green kales, and we have onions, and we have broccoli right now, and we have carrots. The new baby in the Amigos garden is we have a high tunnel. It's a greenhouse with the purpose that we can have, yes, a greenhouse,
Yeah.
thanks to a huge donation, a grant that they provided to Burke Foundation. They provide us, and we build up. The volunteers build that. I wasn't allowed to be around when they was building the hackathon, but it's a amazing greenhouse when it will allow us to have produce all year round.
Oh,
The garden is a great opportunity to volunteer, to learn, to share, and what we have surplus, we share with our community too. Yes.
oh my God. And so you grow herbs, anything that you need to spice up the meals.
We
And
have,
very
yes,
good at this. And so you had a grant that provided the money to build this greenhouse. That
yes.
is so good. I know with the freeze that we just had, all my savila is limpy, and 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 I don't know if it'll ever perk up again. Maybe I'll have to replant, or but I had big savilas, and it was so heavy that I couldn't bring it in. But anyway, so we want to protect our beautiful gardens, especially the
Right.
food
That's
gardens.
correct. Yes, yes, yes.
Well, we want you to give your phone number, your email. How can they contact you to volunteer, to be over there to help prep, or to be over there just to hand out the boxes?
We have our phone number, 915-440-7333. You can call us, or you can go to our website. And in our website, we have all the information how you can volunteer and even register. And we receive that information and we will call you back. And it's mustardseedcafe.org, mustardseedcafe.org. You can send an email, you can write it there, and we will call you back and we will give you all the information. And if in case that you cannot do through the phone or through the web page, just go over there. Go over there and see for yourself what we're doing at the Mustard Seed Cafe. I can tell you beautiful things about the Mustard Seed Cafe, but the most important is for you to experience with that. And we were able to talk to the volunteers, and the volunteers will tell you why they are there serving the Lord. It's an amazing place.
And we haven't given the address yet. Give us the address and how to get there.
And the address is 201 East Sunset Road, and the zip code is 79922. We are located between Osborne and Donovan, all the way in the west side. And yes, even though we are on the west side, we have a lot of people that they have needs. A lot of people that they have food insecure, and we love them and we hug them and we serve them and we provide for them a hot meal ready to eat.
So how many volunteers do you have, and how many more do you need?
We need a lot of volunteers. We need all kinds of volunteers. We have volunteers that we use in the kitchen to help us to prepare, volunteers in the front of the house for the dining, and volunteer for outside, and volunteer for the gardens, okay? And the other thing is, you don't need to know what you're doing. We will tell you what to do. You don't need to know what you're doing. And the Master Garden is ready to teach, about the garden. Yes.
Well, thank you for being with us, and we want to say goodbye to everybody for this week. We'll see you all next week. Thank you, Carmen. We appreciate you, what you're doing for this community. And so we've been talking with Carmen Estrada, from the Executive Director of the Mustard Seed Cafe. Bye-bye. We'll see you all next week. Thank you for joining us.